if you live in Indiana and you're in love, you can go directly to jail if you're a same-sex couple. If you're a same-sex couple and you try to go into the offices out there and you try to do the thing, most every Americans do nowadays, most heterosexual couples, they say, hey, let's get hitched. And as soon as you put ink to paper, they charge you with a Class D felony. Now, let me preface this a little bit. A Class D felony in the state of Indiana is basically the lowest level of felony crime in the Indiana. It carries a penalty of up to 6 months to 3 years in prison. 3 years in prison and up to a $10,000 fine. In addition to certain circumstances, the conviction can be reduced to a Class A misdemeanor, but also the Class D felonies include drug dealing, possession of marijuana greater than 30 grams, operating a vehicle while intoxicated, or a second offense within 5 years, maintaining a common nuisance, theft, criminal confident, and residential entry. So basically, if you're in love and you love the same sex and you put ink to paper, then you're going to jail. And this is going to take place next year, July 2014. The fact is, this is fucking sickening that the Republicans down there, they're so afraid of gay people getting married that they want to imprison them for trying. This is bullshit. And this is their reasoning. It says because Indiana marriage licenses have a space for male applicant and female applicant. Any same-sex couples filling out the form would automatically violate the law. The harsh penalties Indiana lawmakers have approved make it difficult to protest movements like the Campaign for Southern Equalities We Do campaign. So basically, instead of, hey, there's a space for male, a space for female, we could just, cross one out at the top, right in the other sex, and push it through. Or you can make up new forms, but no, that's too easy to figure out. So instead, because they messed up a form, hey, let's throw you in jail. Joe, your thoughts?
Yeah, why am I not surprised? Indiana is one of those states where you can get "In God We Trust" or anti-abortion slogans on your vehicle license plate, which is offensive. And by being funny with this law, by making it so that you could be punished so harshly for filling it out, this really hampers some of the protest movement. What the marriage equality people in some places would do is they would go and they would just apply for a marriage license to bring attention to the fact that they're being denied it.
Right.
Well, here it's a Class D felony.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
I think part of the problem is part of the thing is why they're doing it, and I think you touched on it, is because they know if somebody goes in there and they do this, they can because the DOMA was defeated in the federal courts. If you go in there and you get denied, then you can take it to the next level. You can take it and challenge the laws there.
Right.
But since they have this new law that's going to take place, and if you challenge them, then they're going to go, oh, well, you try to challenge us, well, we're going to fucking take you to jail. What is happening to this country? I'm sorry, Joe, go ahead.
Oh, no, it's fine. No, I completely agree. I mean, all they would have to do is change the form so that it wouldn't ask gender, but because that's on the form, then they can deny people. They're not denying them because they're gay or a same-sex couple. They're punishing them because they're lying on a form.
Right.
Quote unquote lying on a form.
Right, exactly.
By just not offering the option, the legal option of going forward with gay marriage. But yeah, it's crazy. It's really crazy.
It's bullshit too. It's utter fucking bullshit. And Republicans out there, for you fuckers that are pushing your anti-gay agendas, guess what? Election season's just around the corner. Say goodbye real fast. Dave, your thoughts?
Oh man, this is just absurd.
Yeah.
Just absolutely patently absurd. There's absolutely no reason why people of the same sex should not get married, or anyone who's in love really should be able to get married.
Right, exactly.
Any person who opposes marriage for someone who's in love is opposing love in general. Mm-hmm. To jail someone because they just apply to become married?
Yeah, they preface this as the same people as they're trying to break into your house, for example.
So I purposefully did not look up anything more on the subject than just reading this article because I did not want to have
Your hair
any
set on fire?
inhibitions in ranting on this subject.
Ah.
Because it's so absurd to me that I don't even think that there's a plausible excuse for anyone to turn around and say that someone should not have the same rights to love someone else than they themselves have.
Yeah. And you know what's even worse? That anybody that tries to marry somebody, let's just say that they somehow manage to get a license. That's an absurdity right there, right? Right. You know what I'm saying? And the person that, let's just say, if it's a person of clergy, you know, I'm not big on clergy to begin with, but let's just say a clergy says, okay, I'll marry you, or a judge.
You know what? And I'll respect a clergyman who will marry a same-sex couple.
I would too. I mean, I won't respect everything that they stand for, but I certainly will respect them on that issue, and I'll say that they, at the very least, recognize love for what love is. Exactly. And the thing is, though, if they try to marry somebody, like I said, a clergy or a judge, they get a Class B misdemeanor, which carries a penalty of imprisonment for a fixed term of up to 180 days and a fine up to $1,000. So let's just say a judge says, you know, hey, I'm going to get
which isn't much. That's about what someone gets for smoking inside in Michigan.
Right, exactly. But I'm just saying is, though, if a judge tries to marry somebody, and they're going to jail him for 180 days, that's going to go over like a lead fucking balloon, you know, or, well, they prove that you can float a lead balloon. It's got to be done really nicely, but it's going to go, it's not going to fly. It just won't work. I'd like to see them try to put a judge in jail like over something like this. Really? Over 180 days over trying to get somebody married? This is fucking utter bullshit.
Oh, it's absolute bullshit.
It is, absolutely. It just, the homophobia is written on the wall. And if you can't see it, I mean, what the fuck is your eyeballs saying to you? Neil, your thoughts?
See, there's two things that I actually have against legislation like this. For one, if it works, and if the federal government stands for it, what's to keep other states to try to do this crap that are actually against it?
Good point.
For number two, you have the fact that not only is it taking away from the couples that are of same sex that want to actually get hitched, as you were putting it so elegantly, it actually takes away from children in those households. There's tax exemptions, there's federal things that should be allowed to them because they are parents too. Those couples, if you take away from rights from one individual couple just because they're of the same sex, you're basically punishing the children in that household in the same context, which is the wrong way to go about it. I mean, you're basically, for one, you're respecting the sanctity of marriage, which is against the First Amendment itself in the Constitution. I mean, no law shall be made to give power or favoritism towards a certain religion. Yeah, exactly. With that said, that's one of the reasons that I'm an anti-theist. It's one of the reasons I'm so outspoken against organized religion itself. No organized religion out there respects what goes on with same-sex couples. I mean, I could be wrong. The research I've done, maybe I'm wrong, but I don't think I am.
Yeah, I agree with you there. It's just all these laws are based on nothing but religious dogma and beliefs, and it doesn't belong in our government. These laws, it basically goes right against the First Amendment. You know, separation of church and state. If you want to believe that shit outside the government, I don't fucking give rat's rip. But you bring your beliefs into my government, fuck you. And we're going to take your goddamn job, and we're going to take and flush you along with it. These beliefs do not belong in our government. Keep them out.
I think that it was given, one of the biggest things that actually was done by the left was don't ask, don't tell. That was what.
Yeah, that was Clinton actually brought that up.
Yeah, Clinton. That was by Clinton.
Yeah, that was by Clinton. He regretted having signed that. Exactly. I don't remember why I don't know exactly why he pushed this into office at that
politics.
time. Yeah, politics. Yeah, of course.
Politics behind it were basically what drove it.
Yeah. So, but
it was a compromise, is what it was. At the time, gays weren't allowed to be in the military, and he was trying to reverse that. And the compromise was, well, now the military won't ask you anymore.
Right.
So it's like partial protection, but it wasn't full openness.
Right, exactly. Well, yeah, you're right, Joe. I completely forgot. Yeah, it was just allowed to get gay people to be allowed to serve. But now, that it turns out that it wasn't at the time. It wasn't a bad law. It was just poorly written, but they should have just
been a symbol of discrimination.
Right.
It grew into that.
Yes.
Exactly.
Eventually, yeah.
Into that, which was the biggest issue, which really started the whole legislation. There's civil rights laws that are out there. They're race, creed, or gender.
Right.
That basically civil rights should extend to same-sex couples. I mean, LGBT should be covered under the civil rights movement.
Absolutely.
I mean, any law that was basically formed because of response to the civil rights, that should be extended to basically help us move past this and progress as a civilization.
We should, but the problem is, that we got these religious people in there. They're pushing their beliefs into our government, and this needs to stop. It needs to come to an end.